This problem is going to ask you to take dividends that we are going to be distributing to our shareholders and decide who gets them. In this problem, we're going to have two classes of stock. We're going to have common stockholders and preferred stockholders. And the preferred stockholders are preferred because they get preferential treatment to dividends. If we pay out dividends, they are going to receive dividends first. Any remaining will go to common stockholders. The first thing we have to learn is how do you calculate dividends for preferred stockholders. So you have to be given the numbers to do this. So this is what you're going to be given. So you're going to be told a percentage and you're going to be given a par value. And you're going to be told the number of shares, or at least given a way to calculate the number of shares. So anytime I have a paragraph, I like to take the important pieces of information and just put it down separately. Okay, so it says I have 12,000 shares of cumulative preferred 2% stock, $150 par, and then it stops there because the rest is going to be talking about common stock. So what I would do is I would write preferred stock, and then it is 2%, $150 par. And it is 12,000 shares. Let me put that on the front. And let's go ahead and put down our common stock. We have, it's not a lot of information, it's just, let's go ahead and just put this down. 50,000 shares, $10 par. Notice for common stock it doesn't give a percent. Here's one. If you have preferred stock, you get preferential treatment and you get a certain amount of dividends promised to you if the company pays dividends. So that 2% is promising them 2% times par times number of shares. So this is why there's a percent. Common stockholders, we don't promise them anything, so there is not a percentage. Common stock just gets what's left over. So the question was, how do we calculate dividends for preferred stockholders? The answer is percentage times par times number of shares. All right. So the percent we said was 2% or 0.02. The par is 150, and the number of shares that we're going to be paying on is 12,000. Okay, so what you would do is in your calculator you would do 0.02 times 150 times 12,000, and so 36,000 is the amount of dividends that we are promising to pay to preferred stockholders. If you pay dividends, you don't necessarily have to pay dividends, but if you pay them, then preferred stockholders will get this number. Okay, so this problem is asking us to calculate the dividends per share on each class of stock for each of the 4 years. Okay, so here are our years. We have year 1, year 2, year 3, and year 4. And if you look up here, it's going to tell you how many dividends were paid each year. Okay, so for year 1 it says 27,000, year 2 is 60,000, year 3 is 80,000, and year 4 is 90,000. Okay, so it's asking us to calculate the dividends for each class of stock. So this is the total dividends, but the question is who got them. Okay, let's look at year 1. We're going to start off with preferred because they get the preferential treatment. And we calculated already that each year we owe 36,000. So the question is, can we give them all 36,000? Well, we're only paid out 27,000. So we can only give them 27,000 and no more. So preferred is going to get all 27,000, and we owe them some of the remaining. And then common stock gets nothing because we have nothing left over. And dividends in arrears is the amount that we could not pay to our preferred stockholders. Okay, so we originally owe them $36,000, but we could only pay them $27,000, so we owe them $9,000. And we'll give that to them when we have it to give out. Okay, looking at year 2, we owe them the preferred $36,000 because that's what we pay them each year. Plus, we owe them $9,000 for dividends in arrears. So we have plenty, so let's give it all to them. So we owe them the $36,000 plus the dividends in arrears. Okay, so that means we pay them everything, so we don't have any dividends in arrears. Now, let's see if we have any left over for common stock. Okay, so we paid out $60,000, $45,000 of that went to preferred. So the rest of the $15,000 goes to your common stockholders. All right, look at year 3. Looks like we have plenty. Preferred stockholders are going to get their full $36,000, and we will have no dividends in arrears. Okay, so we had $80,000. We paid out $36,000 to preferred, so common stockholders get $44,000. Now let's look at year 4. So preferred stockholders get the $36,000 that we promised them each year, and this time common stockholders will get even more, and we have no dividends in arrears. Okay, but notice it says calculate the dividends per share on each class of stock. What I just showed you is how to calculate dividends for each class of stock for each year. But sometimes you will be asked for the amount per share. Per share means how much each share of stock costs. So the word per means to divide, so that is how we're going to get this answer. Okay, so for year 1, preferred dividends were $27,000. But if I wanted to know how much this was per share, and I have 12,000 shares of stock. So what I would say, so do 27,000 divided by the number of shares, which is 12,000, and I get my earnings per share. And what that means is it is $2.25 per share. Okay, and then for common stock, I got 0. So 0 divided by the number of common stock shares, 50,000, would give me 0. Okay, year 2. Preferred received 45,000, so I'm going to do 45,000 divided by the number of preferred shares, which is 12,000. So I paid out $3.75 per share. So this time I did pay out common stock, and so I have 15,000 divided by the number of common stock shares, which is 50,000. And that gives me 30 cents per share. Okay, year 3, I have 36,000 and 12,000 shares. So that's $3. Okay, and then for common stock, I have 44,000 divided by the number of common stock shares, which is 50,000. So that would be 88 cents. Okay, year 4 is 36,000 divided by 12,000. And for common stock, 54,000 divided by 50,000. So what this is telling us, in year 1, preferred stockholders got $2.25 per share, and common stock shareholders got 0. Okay, and then year 4, you can see that we have $3 per share preferred stock and $1.08 for common stock. So that is how you do cumulative preferred stock. Cumulative means if we didn't pay them in the current year, we get this cumulative in arrears. Not cumulative, dividends in arrears. That's what cumulative means. You can have non-cumulative preferred stock, and what that means is if you didn't pay them the full dividend, you will pass the dividend, so there will be no dividends in arrears. But if it doesn't tell you, you always assume that it is cumulative preferred stock.